My guest today is Nicola Buchan from MB Fitness. Nicola not only does pretty much everything, she is also a mum of two. She runs a business, she is a commentator, she's done public speaking, she's run an ultramarathon, going to run another crazy challenge, and a strong woman, commentator, public speaker, pretty much encompasses everything, gets it done, and still looks after her family. It is great to get time to speak to someone who is on an amazing trajectory of just impacting the world, helping people lead and live a stronger life. So, without further ado, let's get into the show. The big thing I say is like, you gotta win the morning.
Heavy requirements on them to lift heavy weights.
The conversation has to be changed.
What you truly value.
No right way and there's no wrong way.
Become the source of struggle.
I kept finding myself in tears from the physical pain.
You're listening to the Stephen Kinsler podcast. Hey guys, welcome to the show. My guest today is Nicola Buchan.
Buchan.
Okay, I'll redo that. I'll edit that out.
I'll let you off.
I have you written my phone as Buchan. Buchan. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. My guest today is Nicola Buchan, and Nicola and I met 2 years ago on a conference. Our certification with Training Academy. Nicola has a pretty crazy story. She's done a fair bit, and we're going to get into that and how she helps people and obstacles she's had to overcome in her life. Like many of us, we all have trials and tribulations, and I think that we can use them to help other people get through theirs. So, Nicola, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So obviously you've done, we'll get straight into it. So you've done a fair bit. Let's start off with your fitness background. So I know that you've done Pro Strong Woman when you were training for one when we met at the cert. You've done an ultra marathon. What is it about fitness that makes you want to just keep testing yourself?
I think it was because, so I think the fitness is the first time that I realised I was capable of actually achieving something. Like my fat loss journey started when I was 22 stone. So once I started losing the weight, and I think I didn't overthink it, but I think subconsciously I knew that, okay, I can maybe achieve things. And then as I got further into fitness and got qualified, I found that, my everyday gym session and classes and things like that just wasn't enough. I was like, I just want to see what more I can do. So I think it just stemmed from that confidence building in myself. And then it was like, well, what else can I do? What else can I do? I think that's where it come from, for sure.
Yeah. And when you were, what was the catalyst for when you were, as you said, 22 stone? What was the catalyst to go, right, this isn't where I want to be. This isn't who I want to be. How I need to make the change. So where was that point? Where did that all just come about?
So I had my daughter 9 weeks early. I had preeclampsia, and luckily she was absolutely fine, but I was really, really unwell. And I wondered if, because it was, preeclampsia is to do with high blood pressure, if the fact that I was so overweight, made that worse. Preeclampsia, anyone can get it during pregnancy. It is a risk. However, I knew because I was so unhealthy and so unfit that I must have contributed to that somehow. So I said to my doctor, the surgeon at the time, I said, did I make this worse? Did she come earlier because of me? And she says, well, you had preeclampsia, there's nothing you can do, but you definitely made it worse because you're so overweight. And I just asked for her pure honesty. And then I just decided I was not having another baby until I'd lost 12 stone. And, I had that leverage where it was like, well, I'm not allowed to have another baby. That's what I decided. And I didn't want to be the mum that said, you have to eat your vegetables, but I'm sitting eating a McDonald's.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then the very next day I was out walking, and that's how it started. And then it started walking, then it was running, then it was classes, then it was the gym, and then it just took over from there.
And so, just an interesting,
So you started getting active, you started like
Mhm.
getting your health back, and you're obviously losing weight and doing all that. But then you went into like I know you did strongman. So when was strength training the kind of the new buzz for you? Like I really want to do this. I'm actually doing this. When did
Yeah.
that kind of click?
So that was actually after my ultra marathon. So I'd been doing weights. It was just I'd lost all the weight, and I had my son. So I had my
Mhm.
second child. I was going to be getting married. I started doing some kettlebells classes. I didn't really want to take. I didn't want to dive into the gym when I was prepping for a wedding and things like that. But it was a couple of weeks before, and I thought I'm going to jump into some classes just to feel a bit better about myself in my wedding dress, lose a little bit more weight, as you do, as we all do. And I think it was like leading up to my wedding, I was like, what's this like bump on my arm? And then the guy was like, well, that's muscle. So after my wedding, I was like, well, I want a little bit more of this muscle stuff. So I started lifting like little weights, just your basic like accessory movements. I was doing nothing, no big compounds and stuff like that. Started off with the little baby weights and then increased it obviously over time. And then I was doing a lot of classes that involved weights. But as for like the real strength training, that didn't come until after my ultra marathon in 2019. I completed an ultra marathon. Like I said, I did have a basic, understanding and baseline of strength training, but it wasn't like strong women. After my ultra marathon, I went through quite a difficult time and just decided I needed something new to focus on. Went and tried strong women in my local gym. 2 weeks later, I did my first comp, won that. That was it. I was just hooked after that. Compound lift, strong, everything strongman was just, I was good at it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I've always been pretty strong. So, because I was bigger, when you're bigger, you are strong. So I always found moving heavy things quite easy.
Yeah.
And then obviously now I was fitter and healthier, it was even easier. So I just got hooked after that, and strength training is a huge part of my life. Like without it, it's my highest value. Fitness and strength training is my highest value in life. I could not be without it. I absolutely love it. I love it.
And for obviously as a female who lifts weights and like just because we this summer we've gotten a lot back from it. We are doing our first we do strength camps for teens. We've teens all year round. We work with kids and teens. It's kind of the biggest part of one of the biggest parts of our company. And
Yep.
we this year we decided to split the boys and girls and just do a boys strength camp and a girls strength camp. And the feedback from the parents inquiring was, should my daughter lift weights? Is it safe? Is it this? And we still get that from adults from time to time. Oh, I don't want to get too
Yeah.
muscular. And you're like, yeah. I wish it worked that way. I wish lifting weights got me too
I
muscular and I had to
wish.
dial it back. Yeah.
I
But we're
wish.
still coming up with about that. But for like obviously from your point of view, being a woman who lifted weights, is good at weights, how empowering, if it is, I'm assuming it is, how empowering is that for you as a woman, mom, business owner,
Yeah.
everything else? You're like how empowering does that make you feel?
Oh, amazing! Because it's showing that you're strong. You're physically seeing the numbers go up. Like I always tell people, the biggest benefit to exercise and lifting weights is that if you do it consistently, you will always get better. Even if you try to be shit, you will be better at it if you do it consistently. Like there's no getting away from that. So if you get better at something, you build confidence. If you are more confident, you feel better, and then you feel like you can take on anything. Like it's so empowering. And I remember doing a class once, and I bought these little barbells, and all my girls came in, and we'd usually done kettlebells and dumbbells and things, but I brought in the barbells, and after it, they were like, "Oh my gosh! Like that just felt so different. It was the same
Mm.
movements, your squats and think RDLs and stuff like that we've been doing, but because they had a barbell in the hand, I felt so different. I'm like, because there's nothing better than lifting a barbell. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing more empowering than seeing this big barbell with weights on the side, going in and being like, I've just done that. And I think that is why it's so important. It's not just for physical change. Like you can lift weights and look the same. If you're happy with your body and you don't want to necessarily put on a lot of muscle, you can still strength train. You're not going to put on muscle like that. Trust me, I've been trying for 10 years. I'm still not as muscly as I want to be. I'm still trying to get all the muscle. But it's about showing yourself that you can achieve anything. And that is not only rewarding you mentally, but you're also getting the physical benefits from it as well. So why would you not do it, is my question.
Yeah.
But it is difficult because there's still that, we've had years of stigma of if women lift weights, are going to look manly. It's going to take time for that to go away. It's like if you take 4 years and you're training overload and you've hurt your shoulder and you've left it for 4 years, it's going to take a long time to recover. It's not just going to recover itself. You've done that over a long time. It's the same thing. It's just drilled into people and they don't understand. But that's why we're doing what we do, so that we can share, like, especially for me, I love sharing my body composition because I am muscular, but I'm still very feminine. I've got a very feminine body, and I want females to see that you can look however you want to look. If you want to look manly, big, huge muscles, then that's fine. Do that. But it's going to take you a long time to get there. You're not just going to lift the weight. If you still want to look feminine and lift weights, that's achievable as well. It depends what your goal is.
Yeah. And I think there's definitely, like, for me personally, I think the muscular femininity is one of the most attractive qualities in a woman. And that, okay, gym and all that stuff, but I think women that are not only physically strong, but they can still, like, it's not like look like a woman and all of that, but like, they can be the feminine, they have the femininity to them that they still want to keep, but then have that athleticism or that strength look that is, I think, like, again, if I want to partner with someone, or if I want to, like, obviously with my wife, or like if I was single and if I was a young man and I'd want to find someone that looked like they're going to be able to produce the best quality of child possible for me. That's my preference. But I think, someone that is physically strong, physically fit is great. And I know not everyone's there, but that doesn't mean, even if you haven't started yet, it's somewhere that you can begin. Like, you can begin today, you can begin tomorrow. It doesn't really matter where you are. It's definitely an aspiration. I would love everyone to want to do it. I know a lot of people don't want to do it. Unfortunately, I've said this, and it's a term, it's a kind of a saying I'm using. Whether you want to or you don't, you have to. If you want to be able to show up for everyone else.
Yeah, but that's the thing as well. If you look at somebody and you can tell they look after themselves, no matter how they look or what they do, if they don't do some kind of fitness and they're consistent, to me, as if I've got a partner, if I was looking for someone, even in my partner, to me, it shows commitment. If I can see commitment to yourself, then I know I'm going to get commitment from you. I am not interested in somebody that doesn't commit to bettering themselves. That just would not attract me. If you're sitting doing all these things and you're not looking after yourself and you're drinking, smoking, that's not commitment to yourself. So then how are you going to commit to me? So muscle, to me, you look, no matter how big the muscles are, or if you're any kind of sport, you're going to get muscle because you're using the same muscle all the time. So it's going to grow in any way, different ways. So if you're swimming, if you're running, if you're lifting weights, whatever. But if you're looking after yourself and your body, you're showing commitment. And that is very attractive. Very, very attractive. So for a female, like, commit to yourself and make yourself better, make yourself feel good. That's how it should be for everyone.
And you kind of hit the nail on the head, is make yourself feel good. Not look good for someone else.
No.
You feel good in yourself. You have confidence in yourself. And a lot of people are attracted by confidence. Like, you walk in a room, who's confident in the room. And the attraction is there. So if you feel better in yourself, and again, you don't have to be runway bodybuilder ready or any of that. You don't have to be that super athlete look, but you just feel good in yourself. You wake up and you like what you see. But yeah, I think you're going to attract more people that you want to attract to you, versus the opposite. So, like, you've done, obviously, the ultra marathon. So you did an ultra marathon. So we kind of glanced over that. That's no that's no, like, simple task. I just was a casual 5K. So you went and ran an ultra marathon. I've done one or two myself. Like I know why I'm stupid. But what was your reason for doing it?
So I'm stupid because I did it for charity. I had been at a ball the year before that was like a ladies' day evening that had been raising money for SIDS and our local neonatal and maternity.
Yep.
And because obviously my daughter was premature, I thought it would be great to help with this because I knew that they were going to do the ball the following year. So I was in a spin class, believe it or not, and I thought, what could I do? Like, what could I do to, and I didn't really want to do I didn't want to do an event because I can't be bothered organizing a heap of different people.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do something myself. Like, it's so much harder organizing other people. I just can't be bothered because when people don't do what they say, I get annoyed and I think, well, I'm not going to put myself in that position. So I thought, what could I do? And I thought I could do like a spin class, but I was like teaching them already. I was like, nobody's gonna, that's boring. I do that all the time. And then I was like, okay, we could do something with weights. I was like, but also I was kind of lifting weights at the time. Didn't really know about compound lifts at this point, but I was lifting weights. I was like, nobody's really going to donate to anything like that because they know I can do it. And I was like, but I'm not a runner. So then I was like, I could do a run. And at this point, like this is the point that I realized I was the type of person that was go big or go home. It was going to happen. Like I think I already was, but I didn't realize. And I was like, I'm going to do a marathon. And then I told my husband at the time, and he was like, okay. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do a marathon. And then I decided to run from the maternity in Peterhead where I stayed to the neonatal, which is in Aberdeen. And it turned out that it was going to be an ultra. And I was like, well, I want to run from one to the other because that's who we're raising money for. So that's what I'm going to do. It's like, okay, we went from a marathon to an ultra. That's a big difference. I was like, I don't care. That's what I'm doing. I just don't overthink things.
Yeah.
Like that. And then I was like, that's what I'm doing. And I raised a lot of money for it. So I trained for 8 months. I actually got bored of training. So I moved it 2 months earlier. Because I was like, I can't be bothered training anymore. Can we just get it done? So just moved it forward.
Every running coach out there is going, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah, you'll all be freaking out. I'd actually only ran a half marathon before I did my ultra marathon. I was like, I'm bored now. Can we just get this over with? And that was it.
I would be the same. I would be the same. Like, so when we decided to do the ultra, the only reason to do the ultra was, well, everyone does marathons. So let's just so officially an ultra marathoner never run a marathon. And I was like, because I was like, if I do the marathon, I probably won't want to do an ultra. And then we raise money for charity and that type of thing. But I would be the kind of guys like, I have this crazy idea. Let's go do it. What's logistics? I have no idea. Let's just get it done. When? As soon as possible. So long. What's the least amount of time we need to train for this? Okay. So it's not about like, what pace you're going to do and like how many running sessions are you doing. It was like, for me, it's what's the least amount, because I'm not a massive fan of running. So for me, it was what's the least amount of commitment I need to do to complete the task?
Yeah.
I only need to run 3 days a week for 13 weeks and I'll attempt it. We did it, and yes, it was a shit show, and we have ran it so much better. Of course, we could have, if we had done the right training and got a coach and we did all the pacing work. But I'm not invested in that because I'm not a runner.
Yeah, same.
Getting a task is different. And that was the kind of thing. But just when you said that, I was like, I moved it 2 months early. I was like, yeah. I was like, can we get it done tomorrow? And I'd rather get it done tomorrow than me.
I was so bored. And like, I know I just said there, a marathon's easy. It's not. That's at the time I was thinking to myself, because I knew so much people that had done it. And I was like, well, it's not that I thought it was easy. That was the wrong termination. I just didn't think it was as impressive as, like, sorry, I thought half marathon. I thought, well, it's just not enough for the amount of money I want to raise. It has to be, it has to really be like, whoa. And because I didn't ever really run, I'd done little bits when I first started losing my weight, but you're speaking 5Ks only. And then I was like, well, it's going to have to be a marathon. And then when I found it was an ultra, I was like, okay, that's even better. And the day before I ran it, I actually found out it was like, I thought it was 32 miles, but it ended up being 47.5 miles. I didn't even know. I didn't even know what the mileage was. I just was like, I think it's like 32. So that's an ultra. I'll do that. But we actually then, the night before, was like, I might just check this like route that I'm deciding to go on, make sure we know where we're going tomorrow. And then I was like, oh, turns out 47.5. Beautiful. That'll do. It's like,
So, like, there's a beauty in that, I think, of not knowing, because you just go get it done. Versus if you know everything,
yeah.
you could be an overthinker. Like, I remember the first time I ever lifted 200 kilos in the deadlift years ago. I remember because I thought it was 190. I
Yeah. Oh,
miscalculated
yeah.
my weights, and I was like, felt a bit heavy. I'm not going any heavier today. And my coach was like, "You just did 200." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I was like, and,
Yes.
like, done all the percentages, lined it all up, rested the right amount of time, and then stepped up to the bar and couldn't move the weight because
Yeah.
it was in my head. So I think
Oh,
that kind
yeah.
of not knowing and just getting it done in any way part is for me is kind of one of the things that I kind of helps me do things, not overthinking and just trying to get it.
Yeah.
Because if I overanalyze, I can
100%.
very good at talking myself out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I have most of my goals I have achieved is because I've been very naive, and that is just the truth.
yeah,
Because I've not really known what the ins and outs are. Even when I opened my gym, I was just like, okay, I need 70 members to pay the rent. I
yeah,
didn't know anything else. I didn't know about running a business, but it was like, that's all I need. And I think that's the best way for me anyway, is that I don't get a chance to overthink, because once I decide I'm doing something, it's like, okay, I'm just going to do it, and I'm not even going to think about it. And
yeah,
I've already made my mind up. And I don't, I just don't look into things very well. Even when I do a big deadlift in the gym, I never load the bar myself. I will get somebody
yeah,
to come in, and I'll say, this is my warm-ups, this is what I want to do, here's the numbers, do not tell me what the numbers are, when they are, just let me do it. And and I just got 220, and I pulled the 220, and I kind of knew it was more than 200, but when I lifted it,
yeah,
I just screamed, is that it? Because everyone was cheering, so I was like, is that it? It must be it. And they were like, that's
yeah,
it. I was like, but I think if I'd known, I would have definitely doubted myself and probably put it back down once, because I kind of got that sticking point.
yeah,
And if I
yeah,
thought, oh, it's right, I'm going to put it down because it's really, really heavy, I probably would have put it down. But because I was like, I don't actually know what this weight is, and I can't fail, because if I fail this and it's not 220, I'm never going to get 220. And this was like going through my head. So then I grinded it out, got it. And I was
yeah.
like, I'm so glad I didn't know what the weight was. So good.
Uninformed optimism.
100%. And like, another thing that I want to mention while we're on here, since we're speaking about the running just now, I've actually set myself another challenge this year for charity, and I'm doing 18 marathons in 18 days, and I'm doing it untrained. So again, with that,
every strength, every
there's
running
nothing
coach in the world.
there's nothing to think about.
Yeah, there's
To me, there's nothing to think
marathons,
about right
18
now.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how I am. It's just like, well, I'm just going to do it, and that's
Why
it.
18?
Because sadly, one of my friends and a client lost her 18-month-old son, and he was in the gym every single week, sorry. And obviously, he was in our lives for 18 months.
Yes.
Sadly, passed away in his sleep, and I don't know when that happened. It just was like, couldn't believe it actually happened. I'd only seen him in the gym the week before. I just couldn't believe it. And then I met up with my friend and her husband, and they handling it so well. And I was so inspired. I was like, and I knew she was raising money for charity.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to do something. Like, I need to do something. How they are getting through this so well blows my mind. And I am not letting them do this charity work themselves.
Yeah.
And the number 18 just kept coming into my mind every time I was thinking something. And then I just thought, I'm just going to do something for 18 days. And I was like, well, I haven't run again for a lot. Like, I haven't run more than 5K since 2019 in the ultra.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't run anymore. I do an odd 5K in the sunny weather. And I was like, that's going to be a real challenge for me. And then again, I didn't really want to train for it because I love strongman and I want to keep doing that. So I was like, as almost people, I mean, a lot of people told me I'm being really stupid not training, but it also symbolizes that, like, that her son passing away was so unexpected. Like, SIDS and cot death is just, they're fine 1 minute and then they're gone. And it just symbolizes like how inspiring they are by just taking like one day at a time. And that's all I'm going to do, is take one day at a time. I'm just going to run. And comparison to what they have to go through, what I'm doing is not impressive.
Yeah.
What they're doing is impressive. I'm just running. It's really not a big deal. And that is what, because it's not. I've seen how these people have got up and got on with it. And it's just absolutely amazing. So I'm like, what I'm doing is nothing. But if it can get some money and help other people, then I'm happy.
I think it, like, as obviously you're a parent, I'm a parent, that gut-wrenching feeling, something happening to your child,
Oh,
losing a child. Stuart Kane on, and he was talking about Ada and what happened there. And
yeah.
I've had a friend that had a child for 3 days. Like, getting up in the morning to me sounds like the most hardest thing to do if you've lost a loved one, especially a child. So people that are able to get up and get on and keep moving forward is, it's you're like you say, well, it's not just like 18 March is going to be a challenge, but in the grand scheme of things, their mindset and their drive to keep going for their kid is huge. And it's one of the things no one ever wants. No one ever wants to see it. It's one of those things I hate hearing about it. But I get it happens all the time, and it's a horrible thing. And if you can do anything to help friends, then 100% on board, raising money, raising awareness, whatever way you do it. I think it's amazing. So again, we skipped over that you opened a business. So we're going to go back to that. So when did you open the gym?
Oh, I've been open for 3 years now. So what's this? 2021. I had recently split up with my husband. And I was very lost. This is when I joined Paul.
Yeah.
Very lost. Just didn't know how to handle it. I really didn't want to go back. My biggest fear when my husband left was, after my ultramarathon, I was very depressed, and that's when I was drinking a lot and stuff like that. And when I kind of got over that when I started the strongman stuff and started feeling good. And lockdown was a blessing for me. I really decided I was going to like focus on myself and try and grow my business, my coaching business, and online, and did lots of classes and stuff like that online for people, local people, for free the whole of lockdown. And I just decided to really work on myself. And then when we came out of lockdown, it wasn't too long after that my husband decided he was leaving. And I was heartbroken. I mean, we'd been together for 15 years. He was my best friend. That was the hardest. It wasn't that I was losing my husband, because I think we'd fell out of love a long time ago, but he was my best friend, and then suddenly I didn't have a husband or a best friend.
Yeah.
And I joined Paul, and obviously, Paul, absolutely amazing, changed my life. And I said one day that I really wanted to open a gym, because I felt when I go to the strong woman competitions, it is so empowering. Everyone's so encouraging. The community is like no other. You know yourself with CrossFit, it's very similar. Like, it's so empowering. And I just thought, I want people to have that every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And the only way I can do that is by creating a space. So I said to Paul, I think I want to open a gym. And he said, we'll do it now. And 3 weeks later, I'd done it. That was it. Again, never thought about it. I was like, okay, cool. I found it, came up, and I property, went and seen it, fell in love, could visualize it all, done. Where do I sign? That was it. And then it's been here. I've been there for 3 years now, and I love it. I love it.
How's, obviously, from starting, from obviously opening the doors, you said, like, you mentioned you had to get 70 members just pay rent. So how was the evolution of opening a gym, being a business owner / coach / cleaner, admin? How was all of that over the 3 years? Because that's an awful lot. Because obviously that's where the uninformed optimism. I did the same. I opened the gym, and then I was like, oh, it's not just coaching. It's
Yeah.
the other stuff that comes with it. So
Yeah.
how was that? Did you take it in your stride? Did you have like highs and lows? And obviously over the 3 years, where are you now in the grand scheme of the business?
Oh yeah, I mean, when I signed up for it and that, I was then realised you actually needed to get insurance and you needed to have some kind of system. And like, I didn't have a system. I was like, just set up a standing order to my bank and that'll do. And send me a PayPal every month. Like, that's just fine. The good thing is all those free classes in lockdown. I knew a lot of people. So I knew that I knew 70 people. So I was like, I know 70 people and I know I've taught 70 people over my coaching. So surely I will get enough members. And I'm a new gym. So people local where I am do like to support local, especially when you're new open, they'll all want to come and try it. That's how it is. So I knew even just to begin with, I would get enough people. And then I could obviously increase my prices as I got better. There was a few meltdowns. I don't remember it being that bad, but my life is much easier now. I've got proper systems in place.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I had a goal. It was just like, I don't overthink it, which is weird because I actually am an overthinker on things that don't really matter, which is weird. Things that don't really matter and I don't need to worry about. I start, oh my gosh, I'm worrying about it. But big things, once I've decided something's happening, it's just like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was like 4 a.m. starts because I had to manually turn off the alarm at that point, but I had to have the alarm through the night or I couldn't get covered by insurance.
Yes.
So it was 4 a.m. turn off the alarm and then back down at 10:30 to turn the alarm back on. So it was, I think that was probably the hardest part. And it was like going down there every day and setting up things. And I didn't have a lot of equipment. I had a shitty treadmill that you couldn't run on. You just only could walk. And I had a couple of dumbbells. I had one squat rack. I had a shitty mirror. Like it was, when I really looking back, I'm like, I don't know how I got 70 people to join because there was nothing in it. And I think when I first opened, I was a little bit embarrassed to say that I'm a gym. I'm not going to lie. I remember thinking, is this going to be good enough? But people didn't come for the gym. They came for me because of because obviously I had done something right in lockdown and gave the community support. So I got it back. And I have just grown from there. So it went from having one room to then being able to decorate 2 rooms. And now it's 3 rooms with a fully equipped gym with all good stuff, with 4 squat racks. And it's just taken time. But yeah, it was a bit mental, but I don't remember the bad stuff. I remember the good stuff. I remember going down and getting a new member and somebody coming in and training for the first time. And I was like, oh no, there's like somebody's in my gym training. Like, that's what I remember. There's no point focusing on the bad stuff because it comes with that, doesn't it?
Does. And from my own personal experience, I think you said something there, and this is something that I think all coaches or business owners need to understand is you didn't need the fluffy towel. You didn't need the fancy racks. You just needed you because you were the person that was helping someone with their fitness back. We opened with minimal, we'd no flooring, we trained on concrete, like
same.
painted every month to try and make it look half decent. I remember getting our first like kind of half the gym at matting, and we're like, oh my god, this is no one cared. Even like we've just done a renovation at the gym now on reception, and people are like, you're changing it again because in my head I always want to do more. I want to make I want to make it wow. But at the same time, if I only have kettlebells, I can train 5 to 10 people and get them into great shape. I don't need all the bells and whistles. I have the luxury of being able to now get them, but they come for you. They came for you. They didn't come for the one squat rack and the treadmill that we walk on. They came because they invested in you. And I suppose that's probably one of those posters you need in your office. They came for you, not your fancy squat rack.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit. Honestly, I was overwhelmed. And then like I would get emotional about this because like I everyone says, oh, you open the gym by yourself and blah blah blah. And essentially I did a lot of the work myself.
Yeah.
But people were so supportive. Like I had somebody that I probably only met a handful of times in the gym. They came and joined the gym, and came to my open day, and they were like, "Look, I've got all this kit that I had when I lived in Perth. I don't need it. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Well, what do you want for it though?" And they're like, "Nothing. Like, I see what you're doing here. Do you want it?" And I'm speaking like things that were really expensive, and I was just like, "What?" And then another girl was like, "Look, I've got all these dumbbells and plates. They're like literally dumbbells from 2 kilos up to 40. Do you want them?" She's like, "They're a bit rusty and dirty. Just need a clean." I was like, "You're going to give me these dumbbells?" She's like, "Do you know what? Give me a free membership for a year, and yeah, you can have them." I was like, "Deal." Like, people wanted to help, and I think I struggled because I never asked for help. I was just like, I can do this by myself. You know, when you're coming out of a relationship, you're like, I can do it myself. I don't need anyone. And that's exactly what it was. But once I started seeing people wanted to help and for nothing in return, really, they just believed in me. It was like, that just spurred me on more. I was like, what else can I do now? How else can I help people? Like, that just, every time somebody says, you're like, can I help you? Or can I do this? Or shows support, I'm just like, right, I need to do something else to help people, because they're doing it for me, so I want to do it for them.
That's
It's
it. And
amazing.
I think people in general want people to succeed, to be successful, and to be happy. In general, most people, not everyone, there's always the few, but most people are like, "Hey, can help in any way. I have this. Do you want it?" Either whether it's for free or a barter system. And that's amazing, because then again, it goes back to you, your personality, what you're trying to do, and they're like, I see Nicola, and I can help her, and this is how I'm going to help her. So, because she's doing a good job, they're not going, she's a shit coach, throw her some free stuff. No one does that. So it's the investment in you that they see, and it's worth it. And I think, again, it stands to you, what you're doing, what you've done. And then, obviously, as you said, like, how can you help more people and do all that? So from charity to running your own business, 3 years now. And as you said, you've gone from very little to where the gym is now. And you've done podcasts, motivational speaking. How was that motivated? How was that for you, talking to people?
Love it. Love it. I was born to do that. That's what is my purpose. I have never had stage fright. I get nervous, don't get me wrong. I get nervous because I get excited, nervous. I want to do well. I want people to take something from it. I always question whether I'm good enough, but I love it. I have been given a gift of speaking. This is what I say. I am very confident speaking. I say what I think. I'm very real. I'm very honest. If you ask me a question, I will ask you, do you want the honest answer, or do you want to make you feel good? Like, it's two different. And I just feel like I should use my gift, because I have been through certain things in my life where I know other people have been through challenges, but not only that, it's just the way that our brains work. And I think some people think they're nuts, and I'm like, no, you're not nuts. I also think this, but people don't talk about it. And I was like, well, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to be, and then going on a stage, I just love it. If I can look around 100 people and see one person like nodding their head, taking it in, I'm like, nailed it. And I just love it. I love talking. I talk all the time. I absolutely love it. I do. It just comes so naturally to me, being in front of people and talking. But I like talking about mindset, fitness, improving yourself, because I wish that I had somebody to listen to when I was going through tough times. And I did eventually. So, and I know that helped me. So I'm like, okay, I need to give that back now. That I should be giving this back, because I listened to James Smith, I listened to Paul through lockdown. I listened to James Smith mainly, and then I got to know who Paul was, because obviously he was on James's podcast. And I'm like, I have this gift of talking in front of people, and I have the confidence, so I need to do this. It's like, it's not even a choice. This is what I should be doing to help other people. So like, I find that even I have conversations with people and I don't even think anything of it, and then like a couple hours later they'll message me and be like, what you said was really helpful. And I was like, I didn't even realize I was being helpful. So it's like, if it comes that naturally, then it's something that I should do.
And I think that's like if you kind of go back to the beginning of when you wanted to do something for charity, you wanted to give back, you wanted to help, and the ultra marathon was the way. Doing the
Mhm.
18 marathons and opening the gym to help people, running free classes, all of that is to impact and help people. And
Yeah,
speaking is just another avenue of that, and standing on a stage talking to people, doing podcasts, all of that is, again, it's just another way of helping. Because, like, for me, the goal is impact as many people. I'd love to impact 1 million people through fitness. I can't
yeah,
do that on my own. I need a team of people. I need to have different avenues of whether it's the gym, kids and youths is the big thing. Mental health for kids is one of our big programs.
yeah,
Um, all of that. And then if I impact more people by doing a talk at a conference or talk in front of a bunch of trainers, then yes, I impact a room of 200 people or 100 people or even 10 people, it doesn't matter. And their impact is 3 to 4 people per person. And yeah, that's how it's flowing. And to be naive to think that I'm the only person that can impact is wrong. But us having a conversation, yes, will have an impact. Will be a woman that's afraid to go to the gym, or a man
yeah,
doesn't goes right. She lifted 220 kilos. I can do 60 kilos. Let's go. And then they're motivated to get back to the gym. That's the impact that we
yeah,
have. We have the capacity to do that by doing what we're doing.
yeah,
And it is. I do it not in the. I do it not to get it back. If you get me, I do it not to so people come up to me and go, "You're amazing," or "You did this for me." But when you do get that call or that text message, or someone comes up and gives you a hug, and it's like, wow, like yeah, I have done a good deed. I am
yeah.
doing something positive
Working.
because a lot of people, and I don't know if you've gotten this, is like when you're coaching, you always show up. You're the person in
Yeah,
the room. You have to bring the energy. You have to bring it. Like, don't turn up super sad, not talking to people, because it's your business and you have to promote it. But they're like, you're always happy. It's like, well, we're not always happy. No, there's days where we're like, there's times where I'm in the office, in this office, and I'm like stressed out and I don't want to do anything. But then I have to go
yeah,
out at 1:30 and teach 20 kids. Like,
yeah,
I won't be the same person that's maybe angry or stressed out or whatever's going onto the floor. And then when
yeah.
someone does send something back to you, it's really
Oh, it's
nice
worth
to
it.
hear that you're actually you are helping. You know you're helping. When you give back, it just means that a little bit more, I think. And like I know, like with Paul, like saying it to Paul, and Paul brushes it off like, it's grand. But like, yeah, like anytime I see Paul, I said like you're like every year it's getting better. I'm
Yeah,
not getting I'm always learning. I'm always getting more nuggets from program from the course. Every time I listen
yeah,
to it, like it's always getting better. So like in 3 years, you've done a fair bit. Like the ultra was 2019,
yeah.
so an awful lot in that time. And the question with it, do you feel like you've done an awful lot, or do you feel like that was a lot that you've done? Because most people would never do 25% of what you've done since 2019.
No, no. Which I don't know. Like I'm just very much driven for what's next, what's next. Now that's not always a good thing because you don't always appreciate what you have done. And I know I'm not being like an arsehole where I'm like, no, it's not enough, blah blah blah. I know I've achieved a lot and I know that I've done good things, but it's not enough. I know I've got more to give
Yeah.
and I've got more I can do. I know my body can do more. I know my mind can take on more. I want to see how much I can do. And thing is, I enjoy it. Yes, I
Yeah.
have bad days and I get stressed and I cry and I have meltdowns and I don't want to do it anymore and I don't want my business and I don't want my gym and I'm not doing anything and I don't help people because it doesn't work. And I have that more often than I probably should.
Mm.
But I love just, okay, I've done that. What's next? Like, I can't wait for these 18 marathons. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I want to see how my body reacts. Where is it going to be sore? How is it going to be sore? What's going to happen? Like, what am I going to eat? And like, I can't wait to do it. Like, I just want to see how my body responds to doing that and then share it with people.
Yeah.
And raise as much money as possible and make people realise that you can do anything. That is my biggest goal in life, is to impact people to realise that they're good enough to do anything. I thought for a long time I wasn't good enough, and it's not a nice feeling. And a lot of people feel like that. And I am very passionate about making sure that whatever I do in this world, I want people to listen to me, you know, wherever it is I am, on a podcast, on Instagram, at a talk, whatever. And for even 1 second, just be like, I think I can do that, and I am good enough. Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Well, look,
there's nothing worse than feeling not good enough. I felt like that
Yeah.
for a long time, and I would never want to go back there. And I think that's why I keep pushing.
a lot of
to do more.
people, I think a lot of people feel that they're not good enough to try. So why bother? And I think what you're doing, and you said it, and I would be on the same. I think we're on the same wavelength in regards to what's next, what can we do. I do tend not to kind of take a moment and realize, oh, look what you've done.
Yeah, never.
But I think that's the way we're. I think that's the way we're built, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. But
Yeah.
I think for you, and just like even anyone listening to this, based off what you've done, how you've done it, for you to not keep pushing and trying would be a disservice to the impact that you'd have on the people that you're working with. So it would be the worst thing in the world for you not to be. I know people are like, oh, just take time off. Oh, just relax, just unwind. Look, like you're always pushing. You can't keep doing that. I think you can. I want to be, when I'm 80, 90, whenever it's over, I want to be able to look back and go, I did everything that I tried to do, or I attempted. I used myself up as much as possible.
Yeah.
Versus, I wish I could have done that. I wish I tried that idea, because everyone has ideas.
Never want that. Yeah, never want that. I wish I'd done that. No. I would hate that. And I said this to Rachel, who works in my gym with me. I've got a gym manager now. And I said, I can't remember what we were talking about. It was something. And I was like, I have a responsibility. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, I have a responsibility to help people. She's like, yeah, no, but you need to look after yourself. I was like, I am. That's how I look after me. I was like, that makes me happy. And I see it as, like I said, I'm good at talking. I'm good at coaching. I'm good at helping people. Like you said, it wouldn't be right not to do it. And obviously, if I hated it, then it would be a different story. I love it. But there is times I'm exhausted, but I've got a responsibility, and I chose to take on that responsibility, and I will live up to the expectations of others. I will, and my expectation of myself. Like, I have an expectation, and that's why I keep doing more. So it's like, I'm capable of more. So why would I not do more?
Exactly.
No matter how hard it is, I'm capable. So let's find out how capable I am.
And the people that are telling you to calm down or to unwind or to do that, those people that look at you going, oh, they're always trying to do something. I think, guess what? They get exhausted. They get stressed. They have bad days, good days. You're doing something you love to do, and they're most likely in a job that they don't enjoy. So I would rather be the person that is pushing. And I know it's not for everybody, but I'd rather be the person that is testing myself, always trying to discover, learn. I think that's the goal for me, is can I be a better person? Can I be a better business owner, coach, father, husband, friend, turn up? Can I be there? And I know I'm going to fall multiple times along the way, but I don't want to be like, hey, I'm just great. I don't have to do anything anymore. I just think that's like when most people retire after 40 years, and they retire at 65 or whatever year, and then they live for another 20 years, and they end up sick within 5 because they're sitting at home doing nothing. There's no purpose. And I don't believe if you don't have a purpose in life, you don't have a life.
100%. Purpose is everything. And our purpose is to help people. Without that, there's nothing else to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to have a purpose. I tell this to people all the time, like, what's your purpose? Doesn't matter if it's to stay at home and be the best mum or the best dad, or to help other people, or to be the best business owner. It doesn't matter. Just what is your purpose? What makes you happy? What is good? You can look back and say, I did a good job. I want to be the person that people that knew me remembered, that I was always there to help them, or she would have done anything to help you. She would, oh, she helped me this day, or she said this on Instagram and it really helped. That's what I want. That's what I want to be remembered for. That I was the person that helped them, even for one day. I'll be happy with that.
That's it. I think that's it. So, with and I know we're limited to our time and stuff, but we'll wrap up with just one or two more things. So, with everything that you've done and the success that you've had, and I know you're probably like, well, I want to 10x what I've done, which is normal, I think. Other than the 18 marathons you're about to run with no training, and I could just hear running coaches going,
Well, I've been told I'm stupid, but I'm like, listen, the more you tell me I'm stupid, the more I want to do it. I'll be fine. Like, I've already visualized it.
other than all of that amazing stuff,
Mhm.
what's the plans for Nicola and the business and just everything? What's the plans over the next 5, 10 years? Where do you want it? Where are you going to see yourself? Not where do you want to see yourself? Where are you going to see yourself?
I've already visualized it. I'm all about visualization.
For sure.
I visualize everything, right? If I want something, I can see it. So the ultimate goal for me is to be on a stage with people that have paid to come and see me, and for me to just tell them about my experiences, tell them how they can improve themselves, just stand on a big stage and just help as many people as can fit into that hall, whether it only be 100 people, whether it be 1,000 people. That I want to sell out somewhere and be like, I'm here to tell you how it changed your life, because this is what I got told over the years by different people, and this is what I got from other people, and now it's my turn to give it to you. That is my ultimate goal. So yeah, being able to speak more is one of the goals that I'm working really hard to do now. I do a lot of speaking in schools and prisons, and I go to as many things as possible. I work with Giants Live on the commentary, so I try and bring the human element to the athletes while I'm there as well, which again is bigging them up as a human, not just as an athlete. So I try to do that, but yeah, actually having my own platform on a stage and being like, people there need help, and I'm going to be the person that, like I said, they only maybe take one thing from it, but if everybody in that from that stage could take one thing from me talking, that's the ultimate goal right there.
And I think I only heard this, it was actually last week. I heard it for the first time and it really resonated, because I all the old imposter syndrome if I be asked to speak, or we did a conference there in April and I felt kind of out of my depth. It went very well, but it's you can change your life, and it's a slight regurgitation of a story. But the saying was, because there's so many people out there that are trying to help, they're trying to impact, and they're saying that you can do it, you can be that. But what was said was, that person needs to hear you say it. It's the other people saying it is not the people that can inspire that person. So yes, you're trying to help people. I'm trying to help people. There's people that will hear my words, that need me to say those words to them, and people that are hearing your words, and they could be very similar words, but they
Yeah.
need to hear it from you. That's
Yeah.
their catalyst to make their first step. And when I heard that, it just made me feel a lot more confident in, there's people out there that need me to do it, and people that need you to do it. And obviously Paul and James Smith, what he does, and any coach that's trying to impact anyone from any field, trying to impact, there is people out there that need you to say what you need to say. And it could be the same thing as
100%.
someone else. They needed you to say it, because it has to come from you for them to get the benefit. I think that was
100%.
one of my biggest takeaways that I got from that last week. It was just a really good resonation, because anyone that feels like, yes, there's 101 coaches out in the world, there's thousands, millions of coaches, there's millions of motivational speakers. Why are we so different? People need us to say it.
Yeah, no, and my if I'm having a down day, or I'm thinking about something, or I've got an idea, I'll speak to my partner about it, and I appreciate everything he has to, his feedback and everything he has to say. But I will, I only want to hear what Paul has to say. Like, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go to Paul with this. And he's like, okay. And Paul will say the exact same thing. But
Yeah.
Paul is my go-to. He is the guy that changed my life. I will always go to Paul for anything. So it could be 10 people around me say the same thing, and I appreciate it a lot. I really do. It's not just like, oh, I'm not listening to them. I appreciate it, but it's the Paul, if he says, you know, this, and this, I'm not going to agree with everything he says, but, you know, most of the time, he would be the person I would want to go to because I need to hear it from him. He's my person.
Yeah.
And I know that I am other people's person. And that's the ultimate goal, is to be as many people's person as I can be, and just help them change their life for the better, no matter how big or small, but just make it a little bit better somehow.
That's it. And you worded it very well. Is that I want to be other people's person, because you have a person, you people's person. I think that's great. Nicola, I know that we're close to, we're stuck for time and all of that, and I think we could wrap it on a little bit longer. I want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Put your Instagram, and if people want to check out your gym, and I know we're in Ireland and all that, but if they want to see how a girl lifts some big weights, you definitely check out her Instagram. And if you want to follow Nicola for what she's doing and how she's impacting people, obviously we'll have everything in the show notes below. For me, guys, I want to just say thank you. And if you liked and subscribed to the channel, appreciate it. Any comments, we'd be happy to answer on anything. And again, thank you very much.
No, thank you for having me. It was great. Thank you.
The big thing I say is like, you gotta win the morning.
Heavy requirements on them to lift heavy weights.
The conversation has to be changed.
What you truly value.
No right way and there's no wrong way. Become the source of struggle.
I kept finding myself in tears from the physical pain.
You're listening to the Stephen Kinsler podcast.